I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure if you are muted. It seems, Josh, we are not able to hear you. I'm not sure if...
Oh, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay,
I
yeah, I
just...
think my internet cut out for a second. Yeah, I was just gonna ask, when are we doing the demo? Because I know my group
It
and I
will...
wanted to add some sort of interaction with the database using buttons and stuff, but um,
The
currently the
demo,
deadline is
we are... Okay, so today we will finish the course material. This is the first point. So the first point, we are going to finish the course material today, so we don't have any more courses in this. So we have already covered the whole required material in this case. So concerning the demo, I will not do it today because I need to make a lab practice for the SQL. It's very important to make somehow not just one question. Today you will see we will have more than one question. So the lab practice we will not, sorry, the demo, we will not have time for this today.
okay. So my main question is then, how are we to... Okay.
So the next lecture will be the last lecture.
Yeah.
So I will do something for you. I will record the demo as a recorded video, and I will send it in this week. Maybe tomorrow I will do it.
Okay.
Tomorrow I will send it. So I think so the best case in this case to record a video for you and to share the video about the demo, how you can do it. Are you okay with this? And maybe the other, or...
Yeah, I was just concerned because the deadline was coming up, and I was like, when are we doing the demo? Because I'd like to actually
The deadline for
do
what?
all that. But yeah.
The deadline for what?
For the project, it's on the 3rd, I believe, on Saturday.
Yeah, but as I told you that the adding an interface will be an optional. It is not required in the project. You know this.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to do it for practice.
Yeah. So what I will do, I will record a video tomorrow, and I will share the video with you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone more have any question concerning this or something else to discuss before we start our lecture today? Okay. So let's start in this case. So you are able to see my screen, yeah? Just because I restart my computer here, I'm not sure about... No, it seems that I didn't share it. You can see my screen now? Just give me thumbs up if you can see it. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So today will be our last lecture in this course. I'm happy that even though we have so much Mondays off, I think so we have 2 or 3, but from the first day I know that we will have, I think so 2 Monday off or 3 if not, but we have 1 additional because of the Queen funeral, but we did it. So we finished all required material in this course. So you are aware about all material now. The last time we have already started with what is SQL, and we make a matching between the relational algebra that we know it and different operation SQL. We talk about the whole operation that we have already practiced in algebra, how we can write the code in SQL. And like always, we did a lab exercise by the end of this lecture. Today, we have 3 main parts in our lecture. The first part talk about nested query. Because in some cases, we need to have an query embedded in another query. In this case, we name it nested subquery. And we also still there's most of what we have already, all sophisticated and advanced query that we are dealing. It was more about how we can select a copy from the data from the database. However, I think so also we need to learn also how we can update the existing data or delete it or make insertion for new data, how we can build a query for this. This will be the second part of the lecture that we are going to discuss. And we will have a long lab practice today where we are going to write the code directly using the example PHPMyAdmin in this case. So let's start with what is nested subquery. First, a nested, whenever we said we have a query and we have another subquery embedded in the original query or the parent, this subquery, which is embedded in the parent one, is going to be a selected from where. Even though so far you know only selected from where, but today we are going to learn about insert, update, delete. So whenever you talk about a subquery, nested subquery, we're talking about selected from where query. Okay, so there are some cases where we are going to embed the nested subquery within the parent using the where clause, because we know we have selected from where. Let's take this example and see why we need to have this. I think so. Forget this now before we start talking about it. Let's discuss more about, sorry, forget this. Let's talk more about the case here. So the query say, find the courses offered in fall 2009 and in spring 2010. Okay, so I'm going to search for a data based on a condition. As far as I know that I can build a condition using where by saying, and I can build more than one condition. Can I use a where here? Sorry. Can I use a where here? Anyone can help me with this? So why we don't use a where since we have two conditions here? Semester equal fall and year 2009 and semester equal spring and year 2010. Cannot we use a where with two conditions? Can we write it like this? Forget about this again. Can you select course ID from section. Suppose it's the name of the table is section. Where semester equal fall and semester equal spring and year equal 2009 and year equal 2010. We can do this. Can we do this or we can't do this? Go ahead, Josh.
I don't think we can do that, but could we do an or statement instead? So we'd have.
You mean that we can do it?
No, I said we can't do the and statement. I don't think for this for
Why?
fall and spring. Well, because for one, it doesn't tell us the year in this.
No, and suppose I will add the year. Add and year equal 2009 and year equal 2010. So I make a for and statement.
Well, then you're going to get fall 2009 and fall 2010, and then spring 2009 and spring 2010. Yeah. So then that would be an issue. But would you be able to do semester equals fall and year equals 2009 in brackets, and then do an or statement with the semester equals spring?
If I get or, then I need to have the same course being offered in fall 2000 and fall and 2009 and in spring and 2010. If I use or, then I can maybe get some courses that they are offered only in fall and 2009, but I need to have the courses that they are offered in the 2 semesters and the 2 years.
Oh, in both. Okay, yeah.
So what do you think?
Yeah, so you would have to do. Well, no, we can't use this.
No, we can, because normally when we build a condition, we are going to search for a special record that satisfies this condition. We are selecting records in this case. However, the record have only one semester, either fall or spring. So I can say that semester equal fall and spring at the same time because it has only one value per record. So in this case, I can build my condition using the selected from where the classical one that I know it. Here, a nested query will come saying that, Josh, by the way, you start thinking about it, but you thought using the or and make a bracket. The point is, I will first build my query, a nested query, that will return for me courses that there are in semester equal spring and year 2010. And then I will go to the original one, say, okay, get where semester equal fall and year equal 2009. And the course ID will be in the one that will return from here. So this will return the course ID that satisfies this. I will have a list of them. Here in the original one, I will get a list that are in the fall and year 2009. And then using this and in this, which means that I will make a matching between this and this, because here that they should be in the semester fall and year, and there's a condition should satisfy that the course ID also exists here. It is listed here. So this will return the spring, this will return the fall and year, and then make a matching by selecting from here the one that already exists here. So using nested subquery, I can execute don't worry, George. Most of the people who are here, including me, still have sleep. So we are going to use a nested query in a way that we will execute the nested one where we get a value. The value of the output, we can use it as apart from my condition in the parent one. So this, using the nested subquery here, I can build my own query. It is very special cases. Maybe you will not use it so much, but you should be aware about it, that sometimes you need to do it, have more than one query embedded in this. And you should be aware that when we have this in, when he said and calls in or not in, your SQL compiler will execute the nested one, and then we'll go to the upper one. So you are going to get the values from the nested one while you are executing the parent. So you can get the value as apart from your condition in this case. This is how your compiler will work, that executing the nested one before you will go to the parent one and in parallel with the parent, but you will get the values. You will get the values where you are building your condition, because when it will go in your compiler, it should have already the values, because now the values now are part from the condition of the parent query. Eamon, good morning, Eamon.
Hi, good morning.
I see that you are asleep. I think so I should ask you a question. I can see
this.
I'm
not asleep.
Okay. Do you have any question about this?
Yeah, I do. So for in the first part we have to select a distinct and course ID, and then for the very last section we have to select a course ID. So why wouldn't you put the distinct after the second course ID? Yeah, before.
Good question. You can use it, but there's no need. I will tell you why there's no need. Because the output of this will be part from your condition. the final output of the query is based on here. So suppose we have a duplication here based on the final selection, which is the projection in this case, you will not have a duplication. So when you use a distinct, you make a duplication filtering. So the filtering of the duplication will be in the final output. You can still use it with a nested one, but there is no need for this, because even though you get a duplication, later by making the final output, the whole duplication will be filtered. So why I have to make a filtering in the first one and then make another filter? Because the last filtering, which is in the parent one, will make a filtering for the whole selected ID. So if there is a duplication, they will be eliminated in this case.
What do you mean by nested filtering?
So here, this is a nested query, is it correct?
Yeah.
And the values that you are going to receive it will not be the final output.
Okay.
The values that we are going to receive will be part from my where condition. Is it correct?
Yeah.
So suppose I got here duplication. And then when I make this where condition, I still have the duplication since I have it here already. But when I make select distinct in the parent, here I am telling the compiler how I'm going to get the final output, how it should be. The final output saying no duplication. So the filtering will be in the final output because I set distinct course ID. So if I got a duplication from the nested one, which is this one, nested one, and later in the final output will be duplicated, I can do it here. It will be okay, but there is no need. Because even though I got a duplication here, still I can make a filtering here.
Okay.
Because
okay.
the nested will be executed first and will be part from the condition. And then I will make the selection and then I will make the projection, which is the final projection will be based on distinct in this case.
Okay, got it.
Good question, Ayman. And good observation. You are not
okay,
sleeping.
Thank you.
I will not say
yeah,
anybody else sleeping. Okay. Any more questions, guys, before I go to the next one? Okay, let's go to the next one. So the next one, it is the same like the first one, but not in a string. So I can use in SQL the word not in. So I can use the keyword in to get the values from a nested one and add it to the where one. And I can use also not in the same manner as I use the first one. What about if I want to use it in the from? Yes, I can use it in the from clause. How I can use it in the from clause? So like here, even though this is an optional, but it's good that you can, even though I can use it using having, but I rewrite it in a way because we have the same example before, that rather than using having, we can use a nested query here. So the question is, find the average instructors' salaries of those departments whose average salary greater than 42,000. So in this case, I'm not talking about I'm the exact salary. I need to get the average salary, and the final output should include only the department that they have average salary above this value. So the normal case I can do it make where average. Sorry, I will not do it like this. So normally if I will do it in the old way. I make a select, then from, a group by, and then I make having average greater than 42,000. This is how we do it. But I can do here, make the grouping, get the average salary. So I will have an output like this, and then I can build a condition. Here, the nested subquery, I use it in the from, not in the where I will, the data I'm going to select it not directly from the table. I will select it from the output of another query. Rather than saying from section or from instructor, I will say from the output of another query. The output of another query will return the average salary per department. So now, since I have now a new table, this will give me the output like this. I will receive it as a department name. Sorry, let's do it better. So I will receive a department name and also average salary. This will be the output of this table. So I build my query not based on this. I will build my parent query based on this because I'm going to make from here, not from here. So in this case, I can make use of where average greater than 40,000 because I'm getting here the average. So I can build my where condition based on this. And in this case, no need to use having in this case. There's another way to do it using nested subquery in the from without using having. So far we can say we can use in and not in when we are going to deal it with a where in the where clause. And in the from also we can make a subquery where we are going to select the data based from a table. Oh, sorry, based on the output of another query in this case. Brainy is here. So which one is correct? A subquery is a selected from a where expression that nested within another query. A subquery is any query that is nested with another query. A subquery is a relation. We have Ayman maybe first, or who's first? Let me see. Ayman first. Go ahead, Ayman.
I believe it's A.
Okay, Josh, what do you say?
B.
B. You are almost sleepy today. So Caleb say A, Nassim say A. Yes, it is A, Josh, because we said yes. A and B, you can say they are. Yeah, they are the same, but the A is the most correct in this case because not any query can be a subquery. It should be a selected from where to be a subquery. You got it, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will give you a break, then you can drink coffee. It will be okay. So another question. So write SQL query to find those. Okay, this I will keep it later for the lab. Forget about this because we have a lab one. So I will keep this question for the lab because it's not easy now online. You do it. So we have a lab practice. We practice this. So test for empty relation. How I can make a test for empty relations? It rather than using in or not in, I can build also using exist. So exist means that does this query return something for me? If yes, then I can go with my condition. If not, I can't do. Returning to the same example where we said fall and year, fall and this, I can build a nested query saying that where semester equal spring and year, and the calls that I will receive it from the second should be equal to the calls that I receive it from the first. If you remember the nested query, we write it in a way before and in. But here I use and exist. And in means that consider the output of the second nested one as apart from the parent one. Here, when I use exist, since now the two queries can be executed with each other, so I will build my own condition in the second based what I will receive from the first and the second. And if this exists, now I have what I needed, and now I can say the output I can consider it in this case. So this is another way to use exist rather than using in, not in, even though I prefer to use it always in, not in. It will be easier to use it concerning exist. Ayman, do you have a question or are you still raising your hand from the first question? Ayman, do you have any question? Because I saw you were raising your hand. It was.
Oh, no. No, I didn't.
Okay.
That was an
Okay.
accident.
So the second part of today is how we can modify. Okay, so we are done about how we can select a data. So another question is how we can modify the database. I'm not talking about modifying the structure. Because if I'm saying modifying the structure, then I have to use a DDL query. Like alter table, add attribute, delete attribute that we have already learned. But I'm talking about more about how I can modify the data, not the structure. Because all the queries that we learned the last time and today was a nested one, talk about selecting a data based on different conditions and different joining. But what if I need to delete an existing data? What if I need to update an existing data? There is also a queries in SQL about this. Let's start with deleting. So if I want to delete all values in the table instructor, I can use this query, delete from instructor. It will delete everything. If I don't want to delete whole data, if I want to delete a special record, not the whole record, so I can build a condition using where within delete from. So I can say delete from instructor where department name equal from. But when I said I'll delete, I will delete the whole record. Either the old record or I will delete a special record based on a condition. It's easy, not like the select where we have, but still sometimes here, if you want to build the where, we can use a nested query like this here, where the part name in, I can get the value from another table. Based on from the value from another table, I can build my delete condition for this table. So, but always the main key, the main syntax here is delete from. So you use a where if you want to delete special tables. Either you have a direct condition or you build a condition based on output from another query in this case. What about if I want to insert a new tuple here or tuple here in this case? So I can use either insert into. I will not send the attribute name. However, take care about that in this case, you should send the same number of values according to the number of attributes you have it here. If you have a 4, you should send 4. If you didn't send 4, you got an error. And you should send them in the same sequence as they are in the table, with the same type of data. If it is string, you send string. If it is integer, you send integer. If you don't want to send the whole values, so you can list the name of the attribute that you want to send values. And then you will match the values, the name of the attribute, the values, the name of the attribute. But you should take care here that if, for example, you are not going to send the credit, still you can send the 3 values by saying to the compiler, I want to send the value for this is no value here. And you send the 3 values. In this case, the value of the credit for this record will be null, or if there is a default value. Because you know that there is a default value that when you create your table, you can create a default value in this case. So it would be either you use a default value or either you use a default value or you use your null if you are not going to send the value for this attribute. But if you are not going to send the value for the whole attribute for part of them, as I mentioned, you are going to make using option 2, not option 1 in this case. The last one is how we can update in values in a tuple. There's a syntax update set where. So update table instructor I name the tables that I want to update the values. Again, I'm not changing the structure, updating the values. I will set which values you want to update, which attribute, like here. You send a new value, but is it for the whole record or for a special? If there is for the whole record, no need to use where. If there is for a special record, then I build a condition to which record I'm going to update the values in this case. This is the whole that I want to add it. As I told you that this is a small part. We will have a long lab practice today. And it's very important to practice the SQL directly. So we are all done with the course material. As today we discussed, I will send, before we go to the lab practice, I will make a recording for using a demo. As it is an optional, I will not ask you about it in the final. It is not required in the course material. Just I will make a demo, how you can create a software and send the query within the code of the software to you. Because now what you are learning, going to the database management system directly, database management system, which is in our case, it is MySQL. So again, as far from the first day, we said this is a database. It is part from a database management system. And this database management system has an interface, which is PHPMyAdmin. So what we are doing, we are interacting with the database management system directly using the interface. But later, when you create a software, your software should work with the database management system, send the query from the code of the software. And there are more advanced, by the way. There are a special APIs, a special middleware that can be used in advanced programming. I will record a video for you. It is an optional. How you can, either in Python or Java, how you can write query within the code software to send it to the MySQL server to execute it. But in this course, you are just required to build a queries and design a database and write a query directly in the database management system. And this is what we are going to do today. Any question before we go to the lab practice? More question? I will download the attendance and I will make another attendance later. Let me do it. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just wondering if we could maybe, when you're doing your recording for the demo, could you maybe make it like a live optional session or something that we can show up to?
I was thinking about the same.
Okay.
I was thinking about, do you prefer a special timing for this?
Whenever works for you.
Let me check my schedule.
Okay.
I will do it maybe afternoon, and I will send invitation for people who is going to join this. So we will do it live, and we will recording and send it to the other. So anyone can join the demo in this case. He or she is welcome to join us. And I prefer to do it live in order to have this interaction. It will be somehow it is beneficial for the others. Some question will be during this. Yes, I will do it. I will check my schedule and send it for you, so you can join in this case. Thank you, George, for this. Yeah, we are happy that we have a Josh here. Always he have a nice idea, even though he will be sleepy, but still his mind is working in a good way. Okay, let's go to the lab practice. Lab practice today, you have, there is a mistake here. It shouldn't here. No, this is, no. Download is okay. Here. Just that give me that there's more than one dash here. Okay, just there was a typo mistake, just I'm correcting it. Only part is working, Josh. So just while there is additional dash here, so please, because I send it for you, just here, it's only we have a user email in the developer as I can see it as a key.
Yeah, so, there's another mistake.
Which one?
Your developer should be users and the users should be developer for your tables.
Yeah, yeah. So just, yes, I will do it. So this is here. This is, I do it today early morning. I was extremely sleepy. So now it's okay, yeah?
Yep.
So we have 4 different tables. The first part in this lab today, it will be a long lab, as I told you. We have 3 different parts in this lab. The first part is you will be asked to create the DDL query, to create these tables, as we did at the beginning of the course. So write the queries that you can create these tables. And then you'll be asked to enter the value manual. You don't have to write a query. I will show you how you can put in the PHPMyAdmin the value manual. And the second one, after you enter the whole data and creating the table and then enter the data manually, then there we have 2 parts here. The first part, I'm not asking you here. I'm not asking you here to do to write the query. I'm giving you the query. I'm asking you just to execute the query in your database. Some of the query maybe get you a null because it seems that the query is not correct. In this case, you need to recorrect the query to say why it is incorrect, and maybe you need to recorrect it in a way, or just say it is incorrect. So it is more for you to see if sometimes this query is not working. Why it's not working? I need you to think about it. And maybe it's work and you give you a result, and that's okay. So maybe all are working, maybe one of them is not working, maybe one of them give you a null, just to practice the output of the query, giving the database that you have already constructed. The last part, I ask you to advance the query, to write them. I need you to write the SQL query that do this and do this. Do you want me to send this again, or you can take a screenshot now from this? Because it just, we make here a typo mistake. This was, or you can consider it in your case. The user, this is the table's name user, this is developer, and here we don't have this as a primary key or apart from the primary key. So you can take a screenshot if you want again for part 1. Okay, so I will, if just, yes, give me, I will show you how to enter the data manually. I need to run the exam in my computer. Thank you, Navipun, for sharing this. Yeah, I will share again my screen. So we have here, let's suppose you created your table, whatever it is, like here we have, you created the tables. You know how to create the tables. And then you can go to any table in this case, like as I did here. Or I return back, so XYZ. I go to this table. And then there is insert here. I can insert the values manually. Then I make a goal. So put the first value, or you don't want to ignore it, put the first, put the second, and then I said put whatever values. And I want to put it, and then I said go. So now if I return back to the course, I have this value being inserted here. So you can insert the values going to the table, and then there is an insert, no need to write a query, just to benefit from our time. And here you can write the SQL query and the DDL query. So the same place where there is only one place where you write a query. Either it is DDL or DML, you write it in the same place in this case. Any question before you go to the group work? And like always, I will be with you. I will check in with you in the group work. It's very important you all practice this. So I will break you down to rooms now. I will close the old rooms. I will break you, create rooms automatically 4 to 5 persons, yes. Thomas, you are not with any place. I will assign you to a room. Navipun, why you are here?
Hello. I don't know. Should I? Did you send me to the room?
Yeah, and I should maybe.
Okay, let me.
Yeah.
So
Josh, Josh, you are not anymore in your room.
Oh, that's too bad.
Okay. So I have something to announce it for you, that when I gave you this lab work, so we are going to discuss part 1 and part 2 now, because part 3 we will not discuss it. I will extend it more and to make an assignment. So part 3 will be part for our assignment, but I added here, I think it would be good that you have the opportunity that as a group to discuss this. However, we will not discuss part 3 because I will add more queries to it, apart from your assignment. Okay? Sorry, I didn't say you to use this before, because I know if I say this, you will not consider it now, but so I keep it till after you finish discussion as a whole. Do I am a bad guy or I'm okay? What do you think? No one is saying anything.
You're fine.
Okay, so who's going to share with us, which group, their solution about the part 1 and part 2 today? Any group? Okay, go ahead, Josh.
All right. Okay, so first things first, we wanted to create all of these tables. So fairly straightforward. We just used what we've learned previously, right? So we just create table, right? So we create a developer table first, because this one has no dependencies on other tables, so it doesn't have any foreign keys. So we decided to make this one first, and then users does not have any foreign keys either, so we created that one next. And then we started creating the ones with dependencies, the ones that have foreign keys, such as downloads and apps, right? So that's kind of how we split it up. So yeah, just created developer, put all of its attributes in, and selected different types for each of these attributes. So developer ID, for example, we used int, and then that is the primary key. So it's pretty much the same thing throughout. And then we'll have, whenever we had the foreign keys, we just said references and then to what it's referencing. And then when we had two primary keys, so in downloads, we had two primary keys. We just put it at the end here, like we learned in class. And yeah, so that's kind of how we did those. Next, we decided that instead of inserting manually, we wanted to figure out how we could insert it all at once, because laziness. So we found that you can actually use insert into, and then you can insert into whatever table you want, and you put your values. And the way you would do this is you need to have, keep the same schema that we have up here. And then you can enter your columns or your rows, right? So these are each of our rows. And yeah, so you just separate them with commas, and then at the end you have your semicolon. So then we just entered all of these values in. And that was part 1 done.
So that's good that you use the insert not to make the manual value. It was a good practice in this case for the insert one. Okay, what about part 2?
Yep. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you didn't have anything else you wanted to add.
No.
Okay, so
thank you.
First thing, I started making notes on this, but I soon just decided to put them down below. So we'll just go through these first. So we had our select here. So we had select app ID from users, natural join downloads, where user full name, like this. So basically it's telling us, hey, we're trying to find anything that ends in MA in user full name. The problem here is that we're using double quotes, and that doesn't actually work. That gives us an error. So we just changed it to single quotes, and it just outputs an empty list, as we would expect, because there is no user full name that ends in just MA. right? So over here, we can see that no user full name just ends in MA. Next, for number 2, we had to select a user email from downloads where app ID equals 1 and app ID equals 2. This doesn't work. It doesn't actually give us anything. It gives us an empty list. But what we did is we actually modified it to have a nested version of that. So over here, we have our select user email from downloads where app ID equals 1 and user email in select user email from downloads where app ID equals 5. Right, so first we find out, okay, there's an app ID that equals 5. And then from that app ID, we look for another one that equals 1, where the user email matches, right? So this actually outputs just John's email.
So the second query doesn't work like this because the condition is built in a way that we can't use it. So you re-edit it using nested query in this case. Is it correct?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah. So we did it with a nested query, and we see that John is 1 and John is 5. So we get John's email back as our output for this when we use it like this. For number 3, we were asked to use this. This one was not working simply just because of the spacing here. There shouldn't be a space. So what this does is it selects app name with the minimum rating from apps grouped by category. So you get an output of Instapaper 3.1, iWork 2.2, and Facebook 3.9. So what this is doing is it's going to look at each individual category, look for the app with the lowest rating, and spit that out. So that's what it did here.
Okay.
For number 4, we have select app ID from apps where app ID not in select app ID from downloads. This one just works out of the box. I think we just removed this space and we added a semicolon, and that was it really. And that one just works. So what this is doing is it's checking which apps have not been downloaded, I believe, is what this was doing. So yeah.
Not in, so which was not in file transfer downloading in this case.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Josh, for this. I really appreciate it. And like always, we are happy that you are here. That it helped us, all of us, understand more of the lab work when we have this discussion. Concerning part 2, it is not only I will have more query to be as a part from the assignment. So I will take these 2 queries, the same tables, because in order that you will not create the tables again in your assignment, and we'll add more query. So the 2 queries in part 3 will be part from the assignment that I will publish it today. I will give you deadline till maybe Sunday to do the assignment 3. Are you okay with the deadline till Sunday at night? Anyone want to have a more extended? I prefer to do it Sunday because the week after will be the last week. So if you have any question about assignments, so it will be a good opportunity. You can ask me in the last lecture. The last lecture, which is the next week lecture, it will be about each group is going to make a presentation. It is highly recommended. It is not only highly, it is required that you make a presentation. Without a presentation, you will lose part of the grade, which is a huge part about the presentation portion from the grade. And I will double check my schedule for this week. I will try to do it afternoon, so in order that you will not have conflict of other courses. And announce a live session. It is an optional, it is not required, it is not part from the final. How we can build a software, a very small software connected to a database management system. So I will double check my schedule and announce it for you. I will be happy to see all of you if you can join this. Again, it is an optional, but I would be happy to see you there. For the presentation, should we just the ER diagram, relation schema, and the query and screen? Yes, that's all, Kelvin, for the presentation. Yes. And maybe I will ask you some questions during this. Be prepared that anyone can be asked any question. And maybe I will ask why you do this, why you do this. For any one of you, for the whole group member should be aware about the whole project before the presentation. And after we finish presentation next week, group, so if you have any question concerning the course, we will discuss more about the final, what is required in the final, the material required in the also in the last session. Any more questions for me today? I will be happy to hear your questions. No questions. So there is no question, like always, I need minimum 10 thumbs up to leave, or I will stay here. I need 10, or we will not leave. I have no thumbs up, so we will stay. Okay, you want to stay?
I think you can't see the
I think they're
thumbs
not
up,
showing
Barisa.
up.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I think they're not showing up. Because
Okay,
I'm seeing thumbs up on people's circles, but it's not showing up on the screen.
all people want to leave. Okay, well, I don't know why I can see them. It's strange. Okay, guys, have a nice day and take care. See you next week. Take care all.
You too.